Welcome, welcome. How you feeling? You good? I've barely slept. But we're on it. We're in it. I fell asleep on the couch as well. After playing my video games. Guys, thanks so much for joining me yesterday. We streamed for like 6 or 7 hours yesterday, playing Detroit Become Human, and it was really, really nice. Obviously, we weren't doing news and politics and what we're doing right now, but it was nice. You know, a few of you just came in and hung out, and it was lovely. Hello, Martin from Spain. Hello, Cypherdyne Systems. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Original Doc. Original Doc wants me to trigger him today, and he wants me to shout. It might happen. It might do. A Chicken's with us as well. Hello, Susan as well. And Nat. Hello. Yeah, no one's called me Pickle in ages. Thanks for that. Can you all hear me okay? Is everything okay? Is everything good? Is everyone happy? I hope so. I do. I can't see the chat too well on there. It's coming up though, isn't it? It's working. Guys, please let me know if the chat messes up or anything like that, because sometimes I need to reset the little thingy-majiggy there so it keeps scrolling and keeps going. Patrick said, morning Graham, hope you are not going to mute me. What? No. Like Richie appears to have done. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't speak for Richie, and I'm not gonna do things based off what Richie does. Oh God, that was such an easy dig to take at him then, but I'm not gonna do it. I'll wait till Tuesday. That's Tuesday and Thursdays when we rip Richie. I called him a belligerent bar steward. I don't know. Are you sure he's muted you? He's just ignoring you, because he's got a lot more followers than me. I've only got about 1,000 or something. And I can't keep up with all the notifications I get, so I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Did he say he'd muted you? I don't know. It's just Richie drama. It's Richie drama. It's not for me. Little Glob is outside in the sunshine. Outside in the sunshine. So can't see my screen much. Well, that's okay. You can just listen. You can listen, and hopefully we'll both learn something together. Just Cypher will do. Yeah, I'll just call you Cypher. Richie gave me a plug. Thank you. Did he call me a twerp again? I was listening. I've started, because his language is pretty bad, so I can't have him on live usually. But I've started putting him on in the kitchen, so I try and time it so I'm cooking when he's on. And he did a huge shout out for Hayden Hewitt the other day, saying how excited he is going into the studio again and all this. And it all ended with just like, and I'm going to have to put up with that twerp Graeme and all this. I was like, oh! War, is it? No, I know he was just messing. It's all right. It's all good. And I speak highly of Richie. I don't agree with some of the stuff he says, but I have an insane amount of respect for him. And this is how you can tell he's one of the good ones. He'll get people on that completely disagree with him, and he won't give them shit. He might have a bit of banter and all that, but he won't scream at him, and he'll let them say their piece, and that's what you got to do. That's the fucking free speech, innit? But anyway, no more about Richie right now. Guys, at Graeme Booth, drop me a public tweet or a private DM. This is the only time of the week that I actually bother to check my DMs properly. I'm so bad for it usually. So yeah, drop me a DM, drop me a tweet if there's anything you want me to talk about, or just write it in the chat. There's loads of you on YouTube already. Hello everyone, how are you going on? Also though, you can go on here. Look at this, the live room, where all the non-triggerists sit and chill and be anonymous. This at the moment, this is more of a future-proof thing. Obviously, our YouTube is building, and the more views you get, the bigger you get, the more sort of they tend to keep an eye on your channel, and the more you get censored and all the rest of it. So, you know, if you want to say anything along, this is always my example, but if you want to say that biological women are a thing, and you don't want to get unpersoned from all of the internet, then you can go on our chat right here and say biological women are a thing. There's also, you can't see it there, but there's donate buttons right below as well if you want to find them. But yeah, dudes, guys, we've updated triggerwarning.tv. There's a thing just there above the chat box to remind you. Triggerwarning.tv. We're trying to make it into more of a hub for you. So if you want to check out... Oh, hello. Hello, Daz. Thanks for subscribing. Hey, what? Why weren't you subscribed? Disgraceful. But yeah, if you want to go on triggerwarning.tv, obviously you can log in if you don't want to be anon, but we've got a few clips here. We've got links to our Patreon, we've got links to our podcast, we've got links to our Telegram, which gives you absolute notifications off us with no algorithms, no, you know, because some of you may be subscribed to YouTube, and I know full well that you don't get notifications sometimes, because I'm subscribed as a punter as well, and I always click the subscription. So I'm someone who's ring the bell, always click the notification, and even I don't get them sometimes. So I know if you 100% want to get subscriptions and want to keep in touch with us, Telegram. And again, this is future-proofing our content. If we ever get deplatformed from everywhere, if we ever have to move, we'll always have Telegram, hopefully, anyway. We're also on Brave. You can get on there. Links to everything are in the description down below. They should be anyway. I'm going to lose my mind if they're not. Guys, there's a load of links here as well. None of these are paid. They're just people we like. And there's Hayden, bless his little face. We do appreciate your feedback on the website. It is a work in progress. We're just trying to make it better for you, more of a hub for you. So if you want trigger warning, you can just go here. We are aware that some people have had a problem with this, where they can't watch the show and type at the same time. You can see on here I'm fine with it, but obviously I use my screen sideways, and Hayden, God knows what the size of his. But yeah, we are aware there's an issue. We'll sort it out soon, I promise. Right, let's get on with it. I've got an amazing one for the first story. Stop it, little club. You're putting me off already. Yeah, this one came off the our social media website, social.triggerwarning. And it made me so unbelievably happy. It was absolutely ridiculous. There's and it's not good. It's bad. But Ryanair, footage shows Ryanair's passengers detain man who threatened to kill everyone on board a plane. Now there's been a lot of this recently, hasn't there? There's been people being thrown off for just wearing a MAGA hat. People decide they don't like him, kick off. The MAGA person goes, or obviously there's been people like Muslims kicked off because they didn't like what they were wearing, and this does happen. You can't deny it. There's always extreme things. There's been people kicked off for being too drunk or whatever, and it's often the case that when the video emerges, it could go one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? You usually see someone defending themselves and saying this isn't fair, this isn't right, and all the rest of it. We don't do that in Manchester. If you're going to get kicked off a plane in Manchester, then it's because you're going to be threatening to kill everyone on board. Check out this video.
And I will kill every single one of you. You work on a f***ing airport, you fuck.
This is how you do it.
Oh, you think it's funny? I will literally burn your house down.
It's not even, you know, we debate about free speech and hate speech and incitement and all that, and people always say, oh, well, you know, people who don't actually have a concept and a full understanding of what free speech even is, they just want to silence people. They always go, oh, well, you can't make threats, you can't incite violence and stuff. This is what they're thinking of, isn't it? This dude, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him, because if you're going to get kicked off a plane and if you're going to go viral, this is the way to do it, isn't it? He's like, he screams, there's no I will literally burn your house down.
I promise you now. Go on, do whatever you can, you fat slut. I will literally burn your house down.
Oh my god. I love this. I had to start with this because it makes me so happy. He's from Bolton, yo. Oh, this guy is amazing. I'm so proud. Do it again! You work at an airport, you fuck.
I will literally find every one of you and kill you! And you don't think I'm joking?
I will literally kill you. Beautiful, mate.
No!
Did he?
I will kill every one of you!
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. That's how you do it. That's how you get banned for life from flying. I'm not going to go through the entire story. I just adored that video. But he was said to be knocking the cups over and starting fights with everyone and all the rest of it. And he took a fire extinguisher off the wall and friends hit a female member of the cabin crew with it. That's how you do it. I'm sorry. I'm sure if you were on board, it was horrible. And don't get me wrong. If I was next to that with my daughter, I'd be, you know, full alert, everything up, everything firing. But to but to say I will kill every one of you, and then to clarify, I'm not joking. I literally mean it. Oh, you fucked, mate. You fucked. Good luck to you. Game over. Game over. But yeah, thank you so much. I can't remember now off the top of my head who shared it. Let's have a look. I'm going to find out quickly because, oh, it was Mark Wild. Yeah, thanks for that, Mark. Made my day, that did. Kim's just subscribed, sent me a tweet. Thanks, Richie, for recommending it. Hello there. Thanks for joining us. Little Glob said, what was he on? I don't know. What triggered him? I don't know. It doesn't say. It's one of them where it's... Well, it says here at the bottom, actually, because I went through it before. The passenger has been banned from flying and is now a matter for the police. So you know what we're like here. We don't talk about anything publicly, do we? We're not allowed. In fact, I'm going to get onto that later on with a story. But first... do you know what? No, I'm going to do that one in a minute. Because no. We'll do that in a sec. Guys, because it's another video and it's going to be shouting. I'm going to leave it for a minute because, yeah. The BBC has pulled Heidi Allen, who's from the Cook Party, an episode of Have I Got News For You, the day after Nigel Farage appears on Question Time. I've seen this. It's been quite a common one, hasn't it? It's been going around everywhere, and it's really frustrating, man, because people are playing politics and they obviously don't like Farage, and I get that. If you don't like Farage, I totally understand that. I don't particularly like him myself, but I mean, you wouldn't. Oh no. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, and what's really frustrated me about the misinformation around this and the sort of rhetoric is, Have I Got News For You isn't a political program. They might make a lot of political jokes on it, and it's got news in the title and all that, but it isn't a political program. Question Time is. And you might think, you know, everyone thinks that Question Time, I mean, apart from it being shit, you know, everyone on the right thinks that it's biased for the left, and everyone on the left thinks it's biased for the right, and everyone thinks it's like, oh, anti-Brexit or pro-Brexit and all the rest of it. Everyone sort of sees that because they, and the reason for that is because they do try and get a mix of people on there. Whether you think they succeed in that or not is that's your opinion, and that's fine. But what they try to do is get a mix of people, and what that means is no matter who's on, you'll get a Tory councillor on, and you'll get Owen Jones screaming about it, going, "Oh, is this fairness? Is it?" And then you'll get a communist on, and you get people like me going, "A communist? If you're gonna get a communist on, I want a Nazi on too, just for balance." You know what I mean? But that's why Nigel Farage was allowed on there. The BBC decided to pull Have I Got News For You, because they were worried it would break the rules. And again, you could say whether or not, you know, you could say your opinion on whether or not it breaks the rules, and that's fine. You can do that. Just before the Brexit vote in 2016, an episode of what's his name, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, that got pulled from Sky. They refused to show it. He was basically just ripping the whole thing up. He was just, and again, that was because that was a comedy show, and they didn't want to they didn't want to risk breaking the rules. I get that. You can agree with the rules, or you can not agree with the rules, but please don't feed into this bollocks about this false comparison between Nigel Farage and Heidi. It's bullshit, man. It's absolutely bullshit. I would have liked us to be on personally. Personally, I think the rules are too strict. I think there's so much regulation at the BBC that they're kind of backed into a ridiculous corner, and they're all trying to sort of work around it, and they're never going to win. And I honestly think they should relax a little bit. I think it should be allowed. She should be allowed on Have I Got News For You. Gives a fuck. They're always going to... There's always going to be a bias. There's always going to be a line they fall on. You know, I've got another story. I'm going to talk about Jess Phillips in a minute. And the BBC did like 15 minutes just pandering to Jess Phillips. They didn't, and it was all about the Carl Benjamin thing. They didn't get Carl Benjamin on. They didn't even get him on Skype. They didn't, you know, they didn't even have the decency to read out his entire thing. So no matter what they do, There's always a thing coming through. There's always an editorial stance coming through. I don't particularly enjoy the BBC's recent editorial stance, but let's attack it fairly. Let's criticise it fairly. Is my point. The reason I'm bringing this up, though, there was another story I wanted to go into, and it's about it's about all the shit that Farage has been getting for being booked on Question Time for like the 34th time or whatever it was. Yeah, he should have been 100%. So I just read your message. There's no doubt whatsoever that Farage was an essential guest for Question Time. We are 2 weeks away from an unexpected European election. This shouldn't be happening. The law, which hasn't even been changed yet, it just got changed in Europe, which I'm not going to get into all that though. They're supersedes ours, so we're good. But and he's formed a brand new party, the Brexit Party, which is currently doing insanely well in the polls. 10 points ahead of the Lib Dems. He's the leader of, in terms of the European elections, he's the leader of the highest polling party going. And you don't just have to check Opinion and The Observer, check any of them. He is winning. They are winning every single poll by a mile. In some of them, the Brexit Party are beating Labour and Conservatives combined. They are fucking them over. So to say in any way, if you've got any kind of opinion that Nigel Farage shouldn't be on Question Time, you are insane. You are an ideological freak. I don't like him, and I don't like his politics. I think we should leave the EU. I'm at the point of leaving the EU now, but I don't like Farage, and I don't like his politics. I don't necessarily sign up for him, but at least I've got the decency and the intellectual honesty to look at that and say, of course he should be on. Of course he fucking should be. What kind of ridiculous bullshit is this where we're like, you know, you don't like him, and I get that. I get that. But he should be there. All this bollocks about platforming. Platforming. You creepy motherfuckers. Platforming. He's there whether you like it or not. His voice exists. His party exists. The insane support that he has exists whether you like it or not. Patrick's just asked me why I don't like Farage's politics. I appreciate. I think he's riding the wave. Understandably so. I won't criticise. I see why he's done it. I don't like the fact that he's not put forward any set in stone policy yet. I mean, that's my issue. And part of the reason for that is they've only just formed and all that. I just don't like the fact that it's there. I also don't like the fact that he's thrown UKIP under the bus so hard. There was an easy win for him to use the rhetoric of, you know, for years and years and years, he was the leader of UKIP, or he's a member of UKIP, and they're the only party that has rules about, like, people with, like, the BNP not joining. So if you've been in the BNP or any of that nonsense, or any of there's loads of them, all the different sort of controversial parties that have had issues with racism, they're not allowed in UKIP, and Farage was part of that. No other party does that, right? Now, my issue with Farage and his politics is the fact that as soon as he launched the Brexit Party, he just threw all them under the bus. He just said, oh, well, UKIP are racist. And it's like, he played the exact same game that everyone else has played for years and years with UKIP, and I don't like that. I think, if anything, UKIP have been going more to the centre in recent months, in the last year even. But that's what I don't like about Farage's politics. I don't like his political game. I see why he's playing it, but that's what I don't like, to answer that question. I'm not saying I don't like his stance on WTO. I think at this point it probably is the only way to go. You know, rather than trying to do the top and working down and, like, just sort out everything, start at a base of WTO and negotiate up from there. That seems like the only thing that's going to work at this point, you know, and that's certainly not what I wanted originally. Patrick said politics other than Brexit and changed political system are inappropriate at this stage. Domestic policies will come later. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but what I don't like, and I criticise the left for this a lot as well, is when things are vague. When things are vague, you know, such as hate crime laws, such as Section 127 of the Communications Act, that when it's vague, other things can slip in there, and I don't like it. I'm not saying that Farage will slip other things in there. I'm saying I don't like it when people leave things open like that. That's my issue, if you get what I mean. But I get it. We're at the point now where, I mean, look at the fucking state of this. This is the overall polls. This is general election intentions. 21% here for Brexit. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like I said on the other week, Conservatives are going to be bending the knee if they want to stay in power, because 28 is not enough to get elected. Jesus Christ, though, and all these idiots, none of them are going to help you out there. It's going to be Jesus. And I get it. Original Docker said Farage isn't extreme enough for Graeme. Fuck off. It just annoys me. That's the point anyway. That's the point. And I get it. I get what you're saying, Patrick, and I respect that. And I wouldn't judge anyone for voting the Brexit Party at this point. Of course I wouldn't. The promises that were made over and over again by every single person sat in the Commons, every single one of them has made promises and gone against it. So I get it, man. Of course I do. Populism is going to come up. What form that takes, I mean, is Farage even the worst form of it? I don't know. I don't think he is, actually. I really don't think he is. Martin has said, don't politicians have to serve the crown? All of them! And Hayden is trolling in trigger warnings own things, saying Graeme has a Nick Griffin tattoo. Can you imagine? Like, I really made sure they got the eye right. But yeah, Farage deserves to be on there. He deserves to be on Ma this morning. Of course he fucking does. He's the most important person in this country, politically speaking, right now. And don't fucking deny it. May is dead. May is dead in the water. There is an interesting point with this, though, before we move on, in terms of the fact that people are getting very excited about a general election. And obviously there's been meetings, and there might be another vote, which won't be, you know, another no confidence vote, which wouldn't be enforceable. But, you know, will she just cling on? I don't know. Dave has said, how is the new party, Brexit, polling 21% with a 4% increase on the first election they entered? No. This 4% increase is from the last one, so it'll be from a week ago, or from I don't know how. It's usually 3 days, but I don't know how long when this was, but it's from the last poll they did. This isn't an actual election thing. So this is for a general. So this is basically, if there was a general election right now, this is pretty much how we think it might go. This translates to about 49 seats for Farage. That's a prediction, which is 49 seats makes him the kingmaker. This is specifically the Euro elections, so it's up from. So it's changes weekend. So this is weekly, basically. This is from the 23rd of April. It's only 2,000 people. They do weight it. You've got to have at least 2,000 people, otherwise it's not worth discussing. Which is why transgender activists only quote from when it's 200 or 300 that they've carefully picked. The lying shits. The original doctor said people are complaining because the Remain vote is split. Well, I mean, it's all split. It's all fucked, isn't it? I don't know. Usually I've got a reasonably good idea of what's going on, and I predict things reasonably well, but at the moment I'm just lost. Totally lost. Who knows what's going on? I mean, look at the Greens sneaking up there as well. The Greens are doing very well. I think the Greens and Lib Dems are doing well because they've specifically said Remain, staying in. I mean, Lib Dems have been brutally honest about it. The Greens have danced about it. They're still going on about a people's vote, which is just bullshit. You only want a people's vote because you want to scrap Article 50. Don't lie. You know, stop lying and be honest, and you'll do better. How's it going to go? I don't know. I really don't know. But either way, England, Europe's fucked at this point, isn't it? If we do stay in it and we do revoke it, it's just going to be packed with UKIP and Brexit. And even Conservatives that are openly against it, and here's the big thing: all it'll do is expose. It'll expose the actual. Oh, thanks for the subscription, Del. Yeah, once it's packed full of Leave MEPs, it's going to expose how pointless the institution is in the first place. because more and more people are going to realise, oh wait, the person I voted for doesn't actually have any parliamentary integrity. They can't propose laws. They get given it, and they can either okay it or send it back. It's just going to expose it more and more, the actual corruptions within the system, which honestly I honestly think was set up with good intentions, but it's fucked, isn't it? But yeah, let me finish what Original Doc said, sorry. And the rise in popularity of Brexit. Yeah, dude, No Deal is polling at 47% now, consistently. It's been going up. Remain and No Deal have been just going like that in the polls. It's crazy. I suspect No Deal would win. I suspect Tell Them Again would win in a second referendum. But I also think a second referendum would be incredibly bad for this country. Incredibly bad. It would fuck businesses because we'd be waiting again even longer in this weird no man's land of no one knows what the fuck is going on. You know, businesses already prepared for No Deal in March, and now they're being told, could be whenever. Aidan said No Deal for the win. It's got to be at this point, hasn't it? I think they've shown themselves to... just being capable, man. We've got to go to WTO, and we've got to just bite the bullet and go on from there. And here's the thing, man. There's always that argument of like, oh, well, it's going to damage the GDP and all that bollocks. And it's like people that want to leave, they're not doing it for those reasons. They're doing it for the moral reason of wanting to be able to elect people who can make laws. That's it. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, I got to share this because he's deleted it now. This sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Old cunts clapping for Raj on BBC QT. There they are, the bastards, eh? That's your Brexit supporter right there. Miriam and Malcolm Gammon. So there we go. We've got a racial insult for you, hey? Those damn white people. She, a scratchy retired dinner lady who gave a bit extra to the white kids. Oh, there we go. There we go. So whilst you're being racist, I think there's a little bit of projection here, Darren, mate. And I'm sharing this because it's been deleted, but he's gone you can't jump in on this one now. So just so you know, he, a former lorry driver, bunging up the NHS with his ailment in a lilac jumper. There we go. There we go. You absolute twat, Darren. You absolute twat. Unbelievably so. You're the problem, mate. You're the reason that Brexit happened. You're the reason support for Brexit is still so high. This nonsense. You are a racist, judgmental piece of shit. This is it. So because of his political opinions, he doesn't deserve to be on the NHS, does he not? A thing that he has doubtless paid into his whole life. And she's just racist as shit. Fuck you, Darren. Fuck you. But this sums it up, doesn't it? This sums up why people think Farage shouldn't be on there. Because this is their perspective. They're all racist, and Farage is the leader. Fuck you, mate. Fuck you. Anyway, guys, trigger warning. Click the logo. Click the logo. Always. If you're watching this as a clip on YouTube, please click the logo. Please go on our Patreon. Please join our Telegram. Please hit our Brave affiliate link as well. We've got a great one there where it's a really cool browser. It's a bit like Chrome. It's like a clean Chrome. But just by using it, you're helping the channel out. You use it for 1 month and we get like $5 or something like that, and it's just like a thing, and you don't have to pay anything, and you can also drop us Brave tokens and all that, which is good. So please, if you want a new browser, get on Brave, especially if you don't want to use Firefox anymore. Let me just check the live room. And on Trigger is 12K761 has said, if our elected politicians don't want to do the job of running the country, we'll let people that do. That's it, isn't it, really? That's it. Thanks for the sub, Martin. If you don't want to do it, fuck off. That's the thing at the moment. They're all saying it can't be done. Well, fuck off then. Fuck off. But they're more bothered about hate speech and all that, aren't they? Because that's an easy one. That's an easy arrest. It's an easy thing to go to the Guardian with. Fuck all he is. Fuck every one of you. Darren looks like he's from Kent, therefore irrelevant in a discourse. It's very nice of you. And oh, cool. Aiden's just saying he's doing some clips. Thanks for that, man. Thanks very much. Let's check my tweets before we carry on. Good morning, G, from Mr. Mortimer. Good morning to you, sir. How are you? How are you? How are you? I'm great. And Bite the bullet, spot on. Yeah, it is. It is. Here's the thing. Even build the wall. We should build the wall in Ireland and make the EU pay for it, motherfucker. We don't even build one. Just build one. Just fucking build one. That'll distract everyone. But yeah, even with the things they're saying, you know, the financial cost, which by the way, our economy's doing really with growth, really good jobs at the moment, low unemployment, high jobs, best for women ever as well. It's fucking ridiculous that despite this insanely incompetent government and insanely incompetent opposition, the economy's doing better. My theory is because they've been so focused on Brexit, they haven't been passing any they haven't had time to pass the legislation that they usually do to fuck up the economy. Because that's the problem with these people. They're there to protect our rights. But at some point, they've got it in their heads that they need to pass all these micromanaging laws to, you know, oh, hey, Fano boss, enjoy your bacon. But yeah, all these little laws and that. And whilst they've been faffing about with Brexit, we've just been getting on with it. We've just been getting on with it. Creating jobs, doing the economy, because these things work on an individual level. That's my theory anyway. As soon as Brexit is done, the economy will fuck up because they'll start worrying about it again. That's how it goes. Abortion. Cool. Let's bring abortion up, shall we? This one always goes down well for everyone. Right, so Hollywood has been getting on its high horse. They can't even sort out their own homeless people, but obviously they want to look to another state and start harassing them about their laws. The thing about America is it's got its own states, and you vote people in your state to have your laws. The one state interfering with another state is kind of disgusting, really. It is, but what they are moaning about is the new heartbeat law in Georgia. So what it is essentially 6 weeks. Actors sign an open letter in March pledging not to work, which is bullshit. Loads of new films have just been announced there. There's the reality of what they announce, and then there's what actually happens. Which bans most abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. And this is pretty scary, man, because some of them are like, there's a thing where if you cross state lines, you can still be arrested, and that bothers me. That worries me a lot. It's not good. It's not good. And I will say this, the thing with America that really freaks me out is that you guys just can't fucking just settle down. You're so polarized on it. The pro-choice people are wanting to kill babies a week before birth. Literally, 20% of progressives say that an abortion is acceptable at any point during the pregnancy for any reason. And that is right up to the moment of birth. 20% of progressives say that. That's not progressive, man. You're killing a baby. But then you got the pro-choicers that go to just like, boom, the second that sperm goes in there, game over. You got a baby there, which I get. The argument for that is you've created a completely new strand of DNA. It's a new life. Yes, it is dependent on its mother, but it's a new life at that point. I get that. In fact, I get that extreme more than I get the first breath extreme. The first breath extreme is fucking creepy. You know, and further down the line, there's that idiot that made that video dancing about how great abortions are. Can we just get into the point where abortions are pretty bad, but they probably should be legal in some circumstances? Isn't that the reasonable, you know, the reasonable starting point? Like, can we all agree it's a bad thing? Be it 1 day or, you know, 9 months, you are snuffing out a life that could have lived. Yeah, it's a bad thing, right? But it's acceptable in some circumstances. Surely that's it. That's the starting point. But we never seem to go from there for some reason, and I don't know why. Because then it is, right, what is the acceptable starting point? If someone's been raped, if someone's been molested, if someone's underage, surely that's one there. Okay, we can do that. Generally, we can all agree on that, yeah? And then we look at the time limits. 6 weeks to me is too soon. but it's also a perspective. It's also an opinion. You can completely justify it at 6 weeks based on there being a heartbeat and all the other stuff, and it being, you know, certain organs are starting to form, all that other stuff, all that other stuff I'm not going to go into. You can justify it. You can. It might be right or it might be wrong, but there is an argument for it there. I wouldn't agree. You know, I know Hayden put it. I talked to Hayden about this, and he said, well, at the point where it's able to survive outside the body, which is an interesting one. That is a perfectly good argument to have. Perfectly good. But then what do? If you go in America state to state, there's different survival rates for babies born at different points. And what if you're wealthy? You know, is Hayden advocating for wealthier babies' lives being more important? Because if you've got more money and you've got access to better healthcare, then there's more chance that baby would survive outside the body. Dirty socialists that he is, eh? They're all like that deep down. They just want the money and the power. They want their babies to survive, but not yours. So the point is, it's all reasonable arguments, and it is controversial, and I get that. I do. But and I tell you this as well, there's no right answer. There is no right answer to this. I wouldn't necessarily myself go for the point where, you know, because some people are saying 25, 30 weeks you can survive out there. Even at the 20 week mark, 15-week mark, I start to get like, oh, but that's me personally. And a big part of this, big part of this is Alyssa Milano. I don't know why that's not loaded up, because it was beautiful. Our reproductive rights are being erased. Until women have legal control over our own bodies, we just cannot risk pregnancy. Join me by not having sex until we get bodily autonomy back. I'm calling for a sex strike. Pass it on, you fucking idiot. So all you're going to do there, because all the conservatives, all the right-wingers, all the pro-lifers, they don't give a fuck. They're not with pro-choice extreme weirdos like you. They're still getting sex. The only people you're cooking at this point are the people that agree with you. You fucking freak. And what really annoys me about this from Alyssa Milano is it ignores the argument. This is what really fucking annoys me about this. Yes, the lazy pro-choice argument is don't tell women what to do with their bodies, right? And that is an element. But that is lazy. To just say that it's intellectually dishonest. It is lazy. It's idiotic. It's pointless. That's not the argument, you fucking freak. The argument is, we don't give a fuck about your body. It's when are you allowed to, when is that baby not part of you, right? So when I come, that's my cum coming out. When that cum goes into an egg, it's at what point do we draw the fucking line? It's got really frustrates me that. They're saying you're killing babies, and I've actually seen genuine pro-choice arguments saying, no, it's a parasite. It's not. It's not. It obviously isn't a fucking parasite, is it? Jesus Christ. And we really need to start having this conversation properly. At what point is it a human life? At what point do you, as a mother, or even the father that's part of the decision, at what point do we draw the line and say, no, no more. You can't kill that. That is a life of its own. You know, that's the argument. That's the debate. That's the thingy of it. My daughter's 3. Am I allowed to kill her now? Obviously, I'm not. So where do you come back to? Where exactly is the line? There's no answer to that, and that's why we have this problem. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Don't choose that link now, or you'll lose current stream. Wow, what's happening? Don't kill it after it starts feeling pain. That's a stunning argument. That's a stunning argument. And it brings me to this. Sergio Sayano. If you're a woman and you vote Republican, which again is a reaction to this pro-choice, pro-life thing. You are either ignorant or self-loathing. Sorry, there's no other way to explain it. Every day these motherfuckers are actively trying to take away your rights. Republicans clearly hate women. It's not up for debate. This is the problem, isn't it? This is the problem. It's the problem with Twitter, mostly, because it radicalizes people. It's nonsense, isn't it? For all the reasons I've just talked about, for everything that I've just gone into, this might be a reason that you vote Republican. Because that senator, was it West Virginia, literally advocated for killing babies after birth. They're already outside the body, right? You could watch that video and go, I'm never voting Democrat again in my whole life. You know what I mean? That could be why you vote Republican, you know? Or it easily goes the other way. It easily goes the other way. You know, yeah, that it's true. Women should have autonomy. Women should be able to make the decision. In an ideal world, both the potential parents would make the decision, of course, but ultimately it does come down to her. It's funny though, isn't it? This fucking sex thing. You do realise I've closed it now, haven't I? I'll get it up again. Like, this tweet, right? This Alyssa Milano tweet, sex strike, right? If you're abstinent, then that's what they want. That's what the pro-life people have been saying all along. They want you to stop shagging, you fucking idiots. I don't know, guys. Don't panic, Graeme. I inappropriately linked to another YouTube in an early comment. Oh, right. Yeah, I was like, what? Have I been shut down? Manny Munster said, just been watching you wash dishes on that robot game. Do you know what? Stick with it. There's an hour. So for anyone who doesn't know, yesterday I had a day off. I streamed Detroit Become Human. The first hour is just me shouting and screaming about how much housework I'm doing. But it gets really engaging. It gets really, really good. I jumped on it. Like, you can see there's 2 streams. I've not shared it on any of the social medias or anything like that because it's not the main content. But yeah, please, if you're up for having a day off with me and going on a quite an interesting little journey, actually, go check out the Trigger Warning Day Off stream. It was good. I liked it. I'm off there to sell Viagra, make killing. I don't know what that means. Middle ground. Don't kill. Yeah, we've got that. If they are worried about parasites, then they should get sterilised. It's a horrible way of talking about it, isn't it? See, that's the thing, man. I don't like abortion. I hate the thought of it at any point in the pregnancy. I do, but I also respect the fact that it should exist and it needs to exist, and people have circumstances where they can't have a kid. Of course they do. And I think that's what most people feel like. But the problem is they don't realise that when they sign up for pro-choice or pro-life, they're sometimes signing up for these absolute fucking freaks on either side. So you can't really see my hands, can they? But they were as far out as they could be. Let's check the thing. And on Trigger is 12K76 on said, what about all the women in the third world who have no access to contraceptives and have no rights over their men's advances? Well, that's an obvious one, isn't it? I mean, they've got bigger problems than that, haven't they? But I think they should have. I mean, if they've got no access to contraceptives, they're fucked anyway, aren't they? I mean, that's what. I'm not debating that really. I'm debating it in the West. You know, you could say anything, couldn't you? I could say that I put my daughter to bed at 8 o'clock, and you could go, oh, well, what about all these kids in war-torn countries? It's not really part of that. I mean, women in countries like this that have no rights whatsoever, that's a whole other thing. That's where feminism should and needs to exist. You know, it needs to fucking die a death in this country. But yeah, if they can't even go out without wearing their hair out, then they've got all sorts of things. I don't want to muddy the waters, because sometimes it's very, very common to use global stats to muddy the waters on an individual debate. You know, it happens a lot. It's why I criticise Extinction Rebellion so much, because it's like, oh, well, you know, South America are completely killing all of our wildlife there. They're completely destroying animals, fish, vegetation completely, to the point where in the Northern Hemisphere it's actually been getting better, but they're still freaking out about it using that data. And it's like, well, if we've got an emergency, then when are we invading Brazil to go and sort it out? But yeah, what about... who have no access and no rights. What reproductive rights do they have? Well, not a lot, obviously. But how does that fit into this debate with Georgia? You know, it doesn't, does it? It's not part of it. Ooh. Hayden's sending me penis pictures. Thanks, Hayden. Oh. Bill Gates is sorting out the population in Africa. He's doing a lot there, isn't he, man? Well, those billionaires, eh? Those evil billionaires making the world very much better. I mean, here's the thing, man. For Africa to be able to care about that, they have to be wealthier. That's when we get. That when people are generally wealthier, when they, you know, which is like globally, most of the people in this country globally are in the 1%. You might not feel like it, but you are rich, you know. As they come up, infant mortality has been going right down, and as they have those luxuries where kids are surviving, where they're actually getting decent access to healthcare, where they're actually, it's actual freedom, democracy, capitalism, property rights, genuine, legitimate freedom. The more of that they get, the more they'll be able to deal with stuff like women's rights. But we can't sail in there and sort that out. We can't do that. I can't even. You know, I've just been working really hard with an abuse victim next door. Really, like this shit that's like this, yeah. In terms of not respecting women, in terms of all this sort of stuff that I can't even go into because of the legal ramifications of it. That took all of my effort to just deal with her, yeah. So what the fuck am I gonna do about another country? No. They need that, and I was only around to do that because even though I'm poor, I've got the time, I had the attention, I had the ability. I wasn't out grafting 70, 80 hours a week just to survive. Oh yeah, let's get rid of that. Oh, new story. I love this. ITV, Tommy Robinson donation pledge, a profound insult, women's groups say. Tommy Robinson so for anyone that doesn't know, he said that if he wins, he's running in the Northwest. God, for so many reasons, I hope he does. It's probably about 50-50, like I hope he does and I hope he doesn't, and it's about even. I hope he does mostly just for it to be on the BBC that night, for it to just cut to Manchester or wherever they do it live, and him there in his little suit. Oh god, just to have like Femi Sorries and Owen Jones and all them, Mike Stutchery, just have all of their Twitters open on a tab and just watch and go. But no, he said that if he wins, he's gonna donate his salary to victims of grooming gangs, and they've said it's an insult, and it's like, okay, literally 100% of his salary. Real name Stephen Laxley Lennon. Don't forget his real name, everyone. Although he is running under Tommy Robinson. I checked the other day on the card, it will say Tommy Robinson. They've let him do it. And yeah, they've all signed a joint letter saying this is disgraceful. He wants to give 70k to women's. That would fund 2 or 3 well-trained members of staff, motivated people, for what, 5 years that he's there? I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Those staff could house a brand new shelter. It's just madness, right? Tommy Robinson's factually incorrect messages about grooming. Well, no, they're not though, are they? I mean, he gets a few things wrong, and he puts a few, but that's actually the one thing he says that's, I don't know. His attempt to portray himself as a champion of the cause are an insult to survivors of abuse. Right, we need to get over this, right? Yeah, he's working class. He don't talk right. He said packy on that live stream. That's not going to go around with everyone. But ultimately, he is an activist for this. That's what he is. He's an activist, right? And you have to treat activists in a certain way, yeah? Feminists aren't talking about the fact that boys are falling behind in school, the fact that boys aren't getting as many university degrees. It's like 60-40, something like that. It changes greatly. Like, women are kicking ass. The fact that women under 30 are earning more than men now. They don't talk about this because they are activists with a specific target in mind. And that's fine. I don't think that should go anywhere. I think when they pretend to be egalitarians, that's a joke. If you're going to advocate for women and women's issues, go for it. He is advocating specifically for victims of grooming gangs, for the thousands and thousands of girls who were targeted because of the colour of their skin, because of their religion, because of how vulnerable they are. You might not like him, and he certainly does say a lot of things, and he certainly keeps some very poor company, right? He does. But that is what he's being activists against. He might not be breaking the stories all the time. He sells it, all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty you can say against Tommy Robinson, but you can't take that away. It exists. It is a thing. The letter signed by charities including End Violence Against Women and Girls Coalition criticised Mr. Robinson for frequently signalling out Muslims as being behind grooming gangs. They were, though, weren't they? They weren't just Muslims. They were mostly from Pakistan. That was the thing. They were. They were. Let's just deal with it. Let's just be honest with it and deal with it and move on, shall we? There's just been 40 more arrests in Rotherham. 40 more arrests. That's just happened. 40. Yeah? This was a thing. It is not saying all rapists are Muslim. It is not saying white people don't rape. It is not saying Christians don't abuse people. It is saying that for 30 years there was a huge problem with gangs that went unchecked. I know. I used to work with vulnerable kids. And I know the attention that police pay. Because I used to work with... I'm not even going to go into it. But I had a lot of dealings with the police. A lot. And the police have admitted to ignoring this. For whatever reason, they were being told to by certain councils. They didn't want to appear racist. They ignored it. It's a thing. We got to deal with it. And End Violence Against Women and Girls Coalition, virtue signalling just to refuse potential money for victims of sexual grooming. Like, why? Why can't... This is the problem. This is the issue we have with free speech. This is exactly it here. You can say, and you should say, I do not agree with Tommy Robinson's politics. If you don't, that's fine. Great. I do not agree with Tommy Robinson's politics, but I am happy that he wants to help support this, help support us. You know, why not? You would actually turn away 70 grand or whatever it is. For what reason? Fucking disgusting. This is part of the problem. This is part of why it happened. This attitude is how we got here in the first place. This segregating, this sort of like mindset of like, well, they're the racists and they're the victims and blah, 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 blah. This is how we got Tommy Robinson. This is what gave him his power. This is feeding into exactly the same things. We as organisations and individuals fighting tirelessly against the abuse of women and girls as survivors of abuse and their families. I fucking hate that framing, man. Do you know how many little boys get fucked? Hey? We've got child victims of sexual grooming and you always take it to fucking girls, don't you? It really annoys me, that. So many of them. I know this because most homeless are male. And like for a variety of reasons, one of them being, oh no, I'm not going to go into that right now. But let's just take it. But most homeless are male, okay, and most of them have been diddled. They have. This isn't some. Oh, anyway. And as people who care about the communities do not want your money, Tommy. Why not? Why not just keep quiet about it? Why do you have to make some big fucking song and dance about it? Because all you're doing is strengthening him here. All you're doing is strengthening the argument that the system's against him, that he's being persecuted. It's like everyone that's a fan of Tommy Robinson right now is going to read this and be like, well, there you go. He's trying to help just like he always is. And you're just turning it away. You're just feeding into the narrative. You could have just quietly took the money. Wait, MEPs get a monthly salary of $7,500 before tax. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of money, man. He said they need to think of the victims, not their own politicisation of the situation. That money is to go to any victims of sexual exploitation, including Muslims. Right, Tommy does stupid shit. You shouldn't bang on people's doors in the middle of the night. You shouldn't. You should tell your mates to go easy on the fucking violence. I know I don't stand by. I completely condemn anyone that's thrown a fucking milkshake at you. Those people are the problem. But your mates, just could you not just kick the fuck out of them quite so hard when they do it as well? To the other side, you're not helping everything here. But this shit, man, this is right. Like we're judging who says what rather than what gets said. You know, fucking insane, man. Fucking insane. I hate it. I really hate it. And it's just polarising, and it's just going up and up and up constantly. And there's no need. Bob Stew's joined us. Hello, mate. Tommy Fournames, Rebel Media. He's not with Rebel Media anymore, is he? But they're still good friends of him, obviously. And they make a lot of money out of him, actually. He's got the right to free speech, as all agree or not. He does, and that's what really frustrates me. Patrick has said, I am ambivalent about Tommy Robinson. That's the thing, man. He wouldn't be anyone if people just didn't make all this fuss about it. Aiden's on the chat there saying, if you're a fresh triggerist, remember to hit subscribe and touch the bell. Give it a good hard. I like it hard. And do our Telegram. There's links. Aiden, mate, you can comment on the thing. What do you think of the new setup? It's kind of cool, isn't it, eh? The new thing for the description. Guys, please have a look in the description. Let me know. Is it clearer now? Is it easier? Please join our Telegram. Please go on our website and do all that. 9 convictions. 9. He is a criminal. Yeah. So, at what point are you not allowed to speak on anything, you know? How many criminals are in fucking Parliament right now? Again, that's not the problem. In terms of, you say that to a Tommy Robinson supporter, and they'll just point at Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a convicted terrorist that spent half his life in prison. A terrorist. And he came out, and he was a fucking global leader for world peace. When you point at his convictions, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. You need the argument. What's the fucking argument? I'm so sick of this shit. Like, yeah, he's got 9 convictions. He's made mistakes. Of course he has. Some for fraud. But you can't say that isn't an argument. It's not. It makes you feel good, and it makes people who agree with you feel good, but it's not good enough. There needs to be meat. And in terms of this, I've got problems with Tommy Robinson, but in terms of this, there's nothing wrong with this. Virtual signalling nonsense is what it is. Well, it is from both sides as well, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong. This is Tommy playing politics as well. I'm not saying he woke up and out of the goodness of his heart. He's probably making plenty of money from donations, enough to not need it, right? This is politics from him. He is standing for election. So he's saying, I will donate. I mean, it's politics, isn't it? A few people are going to go, yeah, go on, Tommy, good lad and all that. Of course they are. I'm not saying he's not doing it. Of course he is. It's the handling of it that annoys me. And don't get me wrong, oh yeah, Martin said he has handlers, no doubt. Well, of course he does. He needs them at this point. Of course he does. He's been vilified to the point where, which again, he's an activist. This is what really fucks me off, right? Because the likes of Hope Not Hate can just carry on as normal. They got brought on by YouTube and all that, don't they? And they get brought on by the BBC as not with a critical eye, as people that help produce the content. And they're just activists the same way. They misrepresent stuff in exactly the same way. They focus on certain arguments. That's what annoys me at the moment. Yes, they're being prideful at the expense of the people they want to help. Yeah, that's what it is, man. Just quietly accept it. You don't have to make a statement. You know, and if you're forced to make one, right, you're totally missing the point. Well, what is the point? What is the point then? What does 9 convictions have to do with him donating his money to abuse victims? What does that have to do with it? He's funded by the MEF, Zionist-backed stir pot of hatred. I'm reading, by the way. This isn't my... well, no one looks... yeah, it looks like he's got in with the Israelis quite a bit recently. But again, what's the point? What is the point? It's not dealing with that. It's what has that got to do with this? Like, I'm using my head, but I want to know what his funding means. Savile didn't have a criminal record. Fucking good point. Fucking good point. But again, people pull that up, don't they? People pull that out with the BBC, don't they? You know, they've had this. They had this with the earlier story with Farage being on. It's like, oh, they could have a racist on, but then blah blah blah, and it's like, but they'll house paedophiles, and it's like, no, that's not the fucking point, and it's not the same people. My point is, we can't keep playing these games. We can't keep playing the Who Fund You games. We've got to deal with now. Yes, it's relevant. It is. But we've got to deal with the arguments. We've got to deal with it now. Because this is what's getting us into the problem. And I'm not saying this to disrespect you. This is my point of view. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. This stuff does exist. I always look up who's written whatever. Of course I do. Context is important. But we've slipped to the point where context has become everything. And at the point where context becomes everything, then... we make up our own context. It's just smears and it's nonsense. Rich has tweeted saying, I think the main reason for us voting to leave is because we know how corrupt and undemocratic the EU is. Of course, that's the point. That's the reason. People ignore that and abuse leavers and must have a screw loose. Yeah, that's the problem. Of course it is. That's the... oh, God, stop sending me dick pics. Right. I might be missing the point, but I need to know what the point is specifically and exactly. I don't mean this to disrespect you, Cypher. The problem arises when he starts spreading pro-Israel, anti-Arab propaganda. Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing, and I'm not getting on to that today. I'm not. I can't do it. I can't, because I want to talk about socialism, and I'm running out of time. I really want to get to this, and I didn't want to do it first because I wanted to be warm up and happy. Owen Jones, genuinely one of the most dangerous people in this country. Genuinely, I think he's one of the worst people in this country because he's almost right on so many things. He's very good at getting emotions out of people. He's very good at doing all the things that he accuses other people of doing and badmouths them for. Very low on substance, very high on emotion. And he incites things in people. He incites hate. He incites joy and hope and all that. Of course he does. But he also incites a lot of fear. All the shit that he goes on about. And he's just shared this beautiful Momentum video that I had to go into. I had to, because it's really pissing me off at the moment. And what pisses me off about it is I saw someone share a tweet about food banks. And it was yeah, it's the one everyone shouts wanker at. And I'm not going to show the tweet because I don't want to pile up on him. He's wrong, but I can't be arsed. And it was talking about how food banks have gone up under Conservatives. And yeah, the Conservatives have completely mismanaged this country, and universal credit is a fucking joke. Everyone knows that. They've unfortunately, they haven't been Conservatives. They've just been this weird, halfway centrist bullshit party. I think things would probably be a bit better if they had just been actual Tories. But that's another thing. And I saw someone commenting on about how, referring to food banks and saying that was literal socialism. And how that's saving us from the Tories. And it's like, food banks have got nothing to do with socialism. It really annoyed me, that thing of like, this is literal socialism. And that's nonsense. It's the biggest lie that socialists ever convinced anyone was anything that was in the public good is socialism. And it really fucks me off, right? Because... You're buying the ticket for one thing and you're getting something else. And Richie falls into this fucking trap. I don't want to go into this too much because I want to sit down face to face with Richie and talk about this. Because I don't like these real socialists. Fuck off. No. I fucking love Richie. But he needs to sit down and define for me what real socialist means. Because if it's anything close to this bullshit, and don't get me wrong, I really want to have that conversation with him. But yeah, you're a socialist, even if you don't know it. Really? Really? This sounds like cult indoctrination to me, you motherfucker. Even if you don't know it. Oh, really? Let's carry on, shall we?
You often hear people asking,
has socialism worked anywhere it's been tried?
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that, because you see this argument a lot. And I'll tell you, this is the answer to that question. The more an economic system or government has tried to implement socialism, the closer it's got to socialism, the worse things have got. Yeah? That's the answer. Don't give me some fucking Fox News bullshit and expect me to dance on with it and be happy. No. The more socialism is implemented, the closer we get to socialism, the worse things get. You want to bring social programs in, things for the social good. Charity, which isn't socialism, that, like, if we want to collectively decide to look after each other, yeah, that's not necessarily socialism, okay? But it does hurt us all financially, yeah? That's the point. But there's a certain level where we can all kind of agree, can't we, hey? Fund old folks' homes in the UK, that's the NHS, isn't it? As good as that works. But we all agree that, collectively, we all vote for that. That's not necessarily socialism, right? Fucking hell. You fucking...
One country that socialism has ever worked.
the answer is everywhere.
Wait, what?
Socialism is pooling our resources together and using them for the common good. And
No! No! You lying piece of shit! You lying fucking scumbag! Let's hear that again, shall we? Socialism is pooling our resources together. Nice shot of 4 there in the Avengers.
resources together and using them for
the common good. Okay. So me and my girlfriend, we pool our resources together. Is that socialism? Fuck you, you fucking assholes. Me and Aidan are pooling our resources together to do trigger warning genuinely for the common good. Genuinely. Is this socialism? No, it fucking isn't. How dare you? How dare you redefine cooperation itself? Any kind of cooperation as socialism. You fucking scumbags. You lowlife. Owen Jones, you are a fucking scumbag. And the worst thing is, you know this is bullshit. You know it is. I know that you know it is. But you're recruiting. You're an activist. And the fact that this cunt gets a fucking weekly article in The Guardian and Tommy Robinson doesn't, that's the issue, motherfucker. That's the issue. Because if we're going to be consistent and we're going to get bullshit lies that kill people like this out into the world, and here's the thing, I think he should have a column. I think he should. But have some fucking consistency. You're going to walk around with your fist and your ham and sickle and all that fucking bullshit. Going on about punching Nazis. I don't punch you. And you're advocating for the most destructive, deadly economic system that has ever existed on this planet. You fucking bastards.
And it's been successfully implemented all around the world. That
Really?
funded healthcare. So if you live in Britain and you like the NHS, then guess what? You're a socialist.
I'll tell you this about the NHS. Brilliant. Birth for my daughter. Amazing. My daughter got a burn. Amazing. And I saw some shit in there, man. When I was in the burn ward, I saw a little boy that had 95%. I mean, there was a tear frozen. They just wheeled him past. And that shit fucked me up. And the love he was getting and the fact that they're not going to go broke and all that, that is amazing. That is wonderful. But the NHS exists as a succubus to the American system. They do all our research. They do all our testing. They do all the new treatments. Excuse me. They do all the new treatments. So if you're going to talk about socialism being fucking, you know, like, yeah, if you like the NHS, you like socialism. Let's talk about the reality then. Let's talk about the reality that every single day someone gets told, I'm sorry, we don't cover that. I'm sorry, if you want to survive, you're going to have to go to America. Sorry. Fuck you. Manny Munster said, if in doubt, hire a black fella for the advert. I know. It's that, isn't it? That happy. Yeah, fuck off. Because, and they know as well. They know it's so that if there's any abuse against it, they can go look at him shouting at. But he's probably fucking gay as well. Fucking bullshit.
Oh, me? Don't believe me? Look at how they describe publicly funded healthcare in America.
The socialists...
Excuse me? Don't believe me? Look how they describe publicly funded... You're going to get Fox News as an argument? Let's get the fucking definition of socialism up, shall we? Hey? In fact, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now, shall I? You fucking pricks. We don't need to go to some arsehole on Fox News spouting propaganda. Hey? Let's just look it up, shall we? You fucking cunts. A political and economic theory, which it only ever should have been, of social organisation, which advocates that the means of production, distribution and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. That's what it is. It is a very long-winded way of saying you don't get property rights anymore. If you do too well, we'll come in and take your business from you. You don't own yourself, but it's for the common good. That's what it is. That's all it is. Owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Fuck you. And what happens when people don't agree? Well, yeah, oh, you fucking bastards. You fucking bastards. Throwing this shit at me. Throwing this fucking propaganda.
System, healthcare, all government provided, God forbid, like England.
Do you like publicly funded teachers, police, firefighters, schools, roads and libraries?
No! None of that is socialism. Not a single bit of it. And you know what? You know what, right? Let's go through these, shall we? Teachers. It would be better private. It would be better with fucking corporate sponsorship, man. It'd be loads better, and there's ways to do that. I've gone into it. I'm not going into it right now. Fucking police. We all agree. That's the one thing. We all pay taxes for non-violence. That's it. We hand violence to them. We hand coercion to them. And we trust that they're going to apply it in a non-political way. That wherever you are on the political spectrum, unless you're a crazy super libertarian or an Antifa freak, we all pretty much agree on the police. It's got fuck all to do with socialism. You scumbags. You scumbags. And firefighters. This is bullshit. You know what? Firefighters should be privatised. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Because right now, under government control, under statist control, they're fucked. They just get cuts and cuts and cuts. And that's all that they ever see. You know what, right? You could find corporations queuing up to donate tens of millions, millions and millions and millions. You could get the Co-op in Manchester here funding them. Proudly brought to you by the Co-op, and they'd fund them properly as well. Fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit is firefighters' socialism. We don't all own that. And schools, the ones that have the most government oversight are the ones doing the worst. You fucking tools. Schools aren't socialism? Don't get me fucking started on roads. I live in Manchester. Completely Labour dominated. You want to see the state of roads and libraries when the socialists take over? You want to fucking drive around Manchester? You want to go to my library and just see the 3 sad shelves in there? I only go to the library for the reading group for my daughter. I wouldn't dream of going there to get books, because there's fuck all there. And that's under our socialist... Fuck off. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Roads and libraries. Think wealthy corporations like Google and Amazon should
Jesus
actually pay
Christ.
some tax to pay.
Why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about that? They do pay tax. Every single job they create gets tax paid in. They create so much jobs and so much revenue in tax that people queue up to beg to have them for no corporate tax. They give them tax breaks on the corporate tax because they put so much money into the economy. How dare you misrepresent it so badly as this? How dare you, Owen Jones and Momentum, you fucking pieces of shit. Look at that fucking money in his hand there. Oh, it's the rich people and the yachts again, isn't it? How fucking dare you? You idiots. Amazon is what it is because it's a stunning service. It's stunning. It has transformed the way we live. It's phenomenal. And if workers don't like it, they need to unionise. Without that fist involved. Just unionise. Or just walk the fuck out. Walk out. There's another job somewhere. There is. They'll pay you. Fuck you. Actually pay some tax. So if I go get a job at Amazon, am I not going to be paying tax then? Am I going to be paying tax? You fucking idiots. You want more tax, do you? You want more money? You can't even be honest about this, and you want more money off me? More money? What are you going to do with it? Fucking mismanage it.
You're a massive socialist.
I'm a what?
So next time you hear someone trying to scare you about socialism,
The ugly, destructive, Marxist, militant, socialist.
remember, they're talking about you. Socialist.
They're not talking about me. I want to take care of my fellow man. I go to groups. I go to a certain group, and it does have that community ownership feel to it. People would say it's socialist, and there's certainly an element there in that, you know, you donate what you want, people bring whatever food they can. That shit works on a very, very small scale, and it's lovely. It feels great. It feels so good that people start thinking, it'd be really nice if we had this everywhere, wouldn't it? But it's bullshit, man, because the housing association owns the land. They do all the legal stuff on it. Everything gets paid for. People give us water from their bills that they've paid. There's no, like, you can't just stretch that across to entire thing. Again, the more that socialism is implemented in a country, the further they go at attempting it, the worse things get. It is a fucking scale. That's it. So if some government brings in some socially progressive thing that's, for example, say we want to bring the trains under public ownership, I wouldn't even say that that is socialist in itself. It's statist. It's state control. It's not necessarily socialist. I don't get to vote on it. I'm still disconnected from it. It's like, and who's to say they'll run any better? I don't know. The fucking hospitals don't. The fucking schools don't. Fucking councils don't. The more we put in the hands of these people, the more of it goes wrong. I don't know. What happened to Chappie? I don't know. Is he alright? I'm a MIG welder, so finding jobs is like drinking water. Alright. Oh. You lost your job. I'm sorry about that. You'll pay more tax. Amazon avoid paying theirs. Yeah, they do. But that's... Right, I'm not going into that. I'm not going into that again. Our local co-op shut because Tesco took customers away from them, so we're told they got a B&M there now. That's all right. Everyone's... Oh, I'm so sorry you were fired, Chappie. It's good, though. These things are for the best. When Carillion closed, my brother was just... He literally woke up, and he was fucked. Baby on the way. Screw it. All works out for the best. You always know you could find something better. You always know there's a better job out there, but you just work, don't you? But now you can actually go and get a better job, can't you? It is long as this is Cypher saying it is long understood that there are only two models that can be applied to any system: free or slave. There are many bastardizations of the two, but when you scratch the surface, it's free or slave, and socialism is slavery, with a really nice smile to it. Taliban said, where I come from, firefighters volunteer. Little Glob said, most of ours are volunteers. What if the company goes under, Graeme? What company? Sorry. Little Glob, if you're referring to the firefighters thing, then there's always going to be a company that will fund them. Always. Always. They are virtue signalling parasites. They love it. They love the marketing. They absolutely adore it. Manny said, can't go wrong with welding. Yeah, that seems good. Yeah, well, all these things are there. And here's the fucking problem with schools. Here's the problem with the fact that there's been this attitude with schools. We're not fucking training anyone to do this anymore because it's just a pipeline into university, isn't it, and all that. I don't know. Cypher said 100% even anarchy will employ a level of slavery. Always, always. Slavery has always existed to some degree, and it will never, ever, ever go away. Guys, have I got time? I'm way over, and I'm not even halfway through my stories. Right, Facebook. I'm going to leave that as an argument for Hayden on Tuesday. Yeah, this is just going to be a preview for Tuesday now. This awful teacher, I've scrolled it down because it's not a thing, but there's a teacher that decided that that this boy was trans when he just had gas indoctrination. I've got another story for that as well. Oh, no, I can't go into all this. That's a free thing there. I'm going to have to go. Guys. Balls. I'm way over time. Way over time. I'm sorry. Oh, man, I had all this stuff on Jess Phillips as well. Ooh, gutted. Guys, please hit the circle. Go on Trigger Warning TV. There's links to everything in our description. Please, if you want to keep this going, if you want to keep the streams going, we go live on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Plus bonus streams, plus bonus content. If you want to keep it going, please join our Patreon. Or go on the live room. There's a donate button right at the bottom there. I can't actually show you for some reason. It's not working. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. It's just not letting me. It's just... Oh, there we go. So, guys, there's a PayPal button there on our live room. Patreon and Brave as well. Please support the show. I would really appreciate it. What have we got here? Socialism doesn't like education. Oh, I can't go into that. I'd love to. I've got so much more I want to talk about. So much more. It's killing me. But I have to go, guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you joining. Please drop us a like. Likes are so important on YouTube now. Please tell your friends. I will get some clips out for this. So, share the clips individually because, you know, no one's going to watch a 2 hour stream, are they? Speaking of streams, Chickens just said, are you going to stream tonight on PS4? Yes, I'm going to go live between... it'll be at, let's say 10 p.m. 10 p.m. UK time. I'm going to go live. I'm going to finish that bloody game. Martin said, go relax, have a beer. I know, but there's so much more to talk about. I'll get to it on Tuesday with Aiden. It's better with Aiden anyway, because he's full of it. And everyone's saying welding, go for it. I mean, it's not gonna be hard for me and my daughter because my girl's already an engineer. She's a badass engineer. She does medical stuff like high risk, you know, stuff they hook up to babies basically. She's a fucking legend. When it came to like me, you know, I used to make films. When I found out about my baby, man, I was in Taiwan making a feature film. I was literally like, it was a big break for me. It was gonna be awesome, but I just walked away because flappy filmmaker begging for jobs or engineer that works, there's just no choice. So she's full time, and I've been slowly sneaking back in, getting louder and louder. And she's gonna be in school soon. I'm gonna get very loud. Once she's in school, I'm going to do this I'm going to go live at noon every fucking day. I'll tell you that now. So please join our Patreon, please, so that I can do. Guys, I really appreciate you joining. I'm sorry I started shouting too much. I missed a lot of your things. If this is your first Trigger Warning, please subscribe, hit the bell, do everything. Get yourself on triggerwarning.tv and make sure you give us some feedback. We are going to move the chat box. We are. Guys! I love you. So bye-bye. Oh, the show is over.